Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. If this is something you end up enjoying, you never know, it could happen. I've got a book haul. It's the first of the year, of the new year, 2025. And of course, I can't help myself. A bit of a Christmas book haul slash, there was an Audible deal with 80% off, sometimes more. So of course, I could not help myself. Have I read all the books from the last Audible sale? Probably not. Or even a portion? Probably also not. But here we are with another book haul because I can't help myself. But first things first, the Kindle books. Let's jump into it. All right, on Kindle, it's just two books I picked up. One is More Than Legends by J.R. Carroll. This is the short story collection in that series, the More Than Human series. It's been excellent. Lots of fun. Definitely, and of course, J.R. Carroll is a friend of the channel, been on his channel many times, and just definitely happy to promote his work, especially when it's this good. Absolutely recommend it. It's just really good characters and really cool world that's essentially ours, but with more than human, with other creatures like vampires and stuff, and and based around like real historical events, which is really cool perspective that's applied here. It's really fun. Then I grabbed Last Rock by Phil Tucker, the Immortal Great Souls #3. This is one, it's been highly recommended by Matt of Matt's Fantasy Book Reviews, so the series has been. I'm excited to get into it. It's progression fantasy as far as I understand, and really well done. Really well done, so I'm excited. That's why I was like definitely jumping on getting the last book, or at least the most recent book. You never know with these series a lot of times. The progression count, it means more than just it's your characters are leveling up, but also the amount of books in the series levels up. All right, then let's get into the Audible sale because it was crazy. I don't even know if I counted it up. Some people I heard of were getting like 30, 40 books. I might be up there. We'll see. Whew, there's a lot of pages in this. So, yeah, I couldn't help myself. All right, first things first. Speaking of Last Rock, also got it on Audible. You never know when the mood will strike, so now I have it in both ways, and sometimes it's fun just to follow along and be read to. Totally immersive in this day and age where it's just so easy to get sidetracked and distracted by stuff. Believe me, it's a nice kind of change of pace there. Then I got The Way of Idan. This is by Philip Chase, the great booktuber Philip Chase. Heard great, wonderful things about the series. It is also narrated by a booktuber, Alan Walker of Library of Alexandria fame, and so I'm excited to finally read it. I've been wanting to read it for some time. I've owned this for some time, and so it is going to be great to finally actually jump into it. All right, then I wanted to complete a couple series, so we're going to get into a couple of those. I grabbed Drummondor, Rhaenyra Chronicles, Book 5. I believe I have a number of other ones in there, and so I wanted to kind of complete it. I think that might be it. That's why I grabbed it. I might have them all. We'll see. I have to double check that. I also grabbed The Lonesome Crown, 5 Warrior Angels, Book 3 by Brian Lee Durfee. So that's the trilogy ending, I believe. Is that what I understand? So I'm excited to finally read that. Maybe it'll happen this year. I really want to get to that. I know he's been having so many medical issues. I really want to support him. And it's also narrated by Tim Gerard Reynolds, who does a lot of the Rhaenyra Revelations and Rhaenyra series. So I'm looking forward to that. Then another one, again, just trying to get the last in the series. I think I have all of these now. Disquiet Gods by Christopher Rocchio. The Sun Eater series is an absolute just wonderful series. Science fiction, just all the great things that I love that are in my like top 10. It like puts them all together into one great series. I love it. Also grabbed The Dregs of Empire, Sun Eater. I think this is a short story or something like that, although it is 9 hours long on Audible, so I'm not sure where that one fits in. And those ones are all narrated by Samuel Raukin, who's just so good. I absolutely had a blast with. He's been narrating a number of books that I've read recently, and just does a great job. Then speaking of a series that I am wrapping up, just trying to get all of them, but I got Defiant by Brandon Sanderson. That is the book 4 in the Skyward series. So trying to keep up on your Brandon Sanderson. Someone quoted, I think it was Bookish Chaz, that the state of the Sanderson, all the stuff that Sanderson's announcing, it's a little overwhelming at this point with everything that he's pumping out. Like, wow, I do have other authors I like to read, and it starts to get like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to catch up, frankly. But again, 1, it could be worse. 2, I mean, how cool is that to have an author that just loves his fans that much? All right, then I grabbed The Ice, The Bound and the Broken 3.5 by Ryan Cahill, and just completing series. A lot of this is just completing the series as I can. I grabbed the first and second collected tales of Baukelane and Corbel Broach in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. The prices are right, let's be honest. I might as well. And I love rereading Malazan. And rereading Malazan in audio is really the only way that I can do audio for Malazan. I have to read them with my eyeballs first time through, just because of how complicated and complex everything is, and I want to be able to remember things better than I admittedly don't remember them as well when it's through my ears. Then we've got a couple by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I have been mentioning lately, I'm a huge fan now. I've only read one book, but I want to read them all now. And there are a lot, because he's doing the Brandon Sanderson method of publishing like 3 or 4 books a year, which again, gets overwhelming. But we got House of Open Wounds, and that is the Tyrant Philosophers Book 2. City of Last Chances, Book 1. For some reason I read them in opposite order. That's how it happens sometimes. And then I grabbed also Elder Race by Adrian Tchaikovsky. That is just a standalone 4-hour long, so maybe a novella, I think, as far as I can tell. And then I grabbed Dogs of War Book 1. So it's an actual book. So a lot of Adrian Tchaikovsky in my future, that is for sure. And I still really want to get to, what is it, the bug one, the bug series, Fantasy Bugs. That's what we're going to call it. And then I didn't realize that I also got book 2, The Rasker Plains, in the Immortal Great Souls series by Phil Tucker. So because that's how many books I read, so many books I bought, I can't even keep track of all of them. And speaking of other books I couldn't keep track of, The Exile, I also grabbed The Bound and the Broken Book 2.5, so another novella in the Ryan Cahill series. And then I also grabbed Nolan, The Rise and Fall Book 1 by Michael J. Sullivan. I am all over the place. I am sorry about that. Then my final Brandon Sanderson book that I got with Dan Wells is The Dark One Forgotten. So I'm looking forward to that, because that one has always been interesting to me as to what is even going on with that collaboration there. And then continuing another series, The Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook, Dungeon Crawler Carl, Book 3, which, funny enough, I've actually already listened to, and it was excellent as usual, and I'm looking forward to Book 4 already. Then I grabbed Winterset Hollow by Jonathan Edward Durham. This is an author I follow on Twitter/X, who is not only hilarious, but also gets quoted then on like Facebook and all that, so you know that they're high quality or not, or maybe the opposite, I don't know, depending on how you feel about those social medias. But I always find them high quality, just little snippets of his brain that I just absolutely love. So I'm like, I'm probably going to like his book as much as I enjoy the random things he says on Twitter/X. And then this is a friend of mine. I've pushed enough books on him. It was about time that I actually take one of his recommendations instead of being so selfish. So I grabbed Columbus Day, Expeditionary Force, Book 1 by Craig Allenson. And so I'm excited for that one. That should be good, and I've heard only great things about that one. Another one by, apparently I did actually get these together. The section of this where I'm actually getting recommendations from others that I bought. So Spellmonger is the next one by Terry Mancour. I've heard only great things about this. So I got the first book in that series. It looks like a long series. There's a lot to it, but I'm excited for that. Heard great things. And then this is one, Library on Legs, recommended Sina, The Fragment of Water. And I agreed to read this, and I think she's reading The Whitefire Crossing by Courtney Schaefer, so that'll be cool. I'm excited to hear those thoughts, but The Fragment of Water I'm looking forward to, so hopefully that'll be some good stuff there. All right, that's all the Audible books that I got. My word, I sometimes get out of hand. Counted it up, it's 23. I may or may not have missed a couple because I was trying to skip around and keep things together, and then I ended up not even doing that. So here we are. Anyway, I'm going to jump into now the physical books. Let's get physical here. And always with physical books, I always start with the graphic novels. They're not always everybody's favorite. I think I get downvoted for that a little bit, but I'll be quick on that. And then I've got some specialty editions that I grabbed, so I'm very excited to talk about those and fawn over them, and some other books that I grabbed, and the big one of the year too. First things first, I realized that I grabbed the third in this trilogy, but I didn't have the second, and I haven't read the second. So The Dark Knight Returns was the first I read ages ago. It was great. I've heard this one can be kind of a mess. The Dark Knight Strikes Again. I was trying to do an Empire Strikes Back, it feels like, but anyway, wanted to read it still. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. You'll get my thoughts or you won't. I don't know. People don't seem to love the graphic novels on the channel. But anyway, but this is, I do what I do. So what I'm interested in. Then I grabbed The Last Ronin, The Lost Years. So I'm excited to see what that's all about. I love me some Ninja Turtles. Interesting take. I'm not sure which one to read first, whether I should read The Lost Years or The Last Ronin first. Almost done with The Last Ronin anyway, so I guess it's too late, maybe. All right, I picked these up. I was going through, I just happened to find this one in my Barnes & Noble, How to Live Safely in a Science Fictional Universe by Charles Yu. I used to own this. It made my top 100 science fiction books. Just talking about it again made me want it again, and I want to read it again. It's an absolute blast. It's one of those weird books, though, that you have to be kind of in the mood for a weird one. And it's weird in all the greatest ways for me. And you'll maybe understand me better by reading this. So it worked for me, though. Then I also found this one. It was kind of random. It just feels like it's Heinlein, double star. It's Connie Willis, who is a great author. Of all Heinlein's books, Double Star is one of my 3 favorites. So honestly, that kind of sold me. That never sells me, frankly, usually. But that alone, I thought it was better than your usual, it's good kind of author comment of okay, whatever. But I thought that one sold me. What was interesting to me, it was kind of, this is almost like a self-published book. It was weird to find with Heinlein. So I'm like, did they just, the publisher not have rights to this, I guess? So anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing what the heck that's all about. All right, I talked about, I got the other 2, I think, that are out. I've got to see if there's more out. I got books 1 and 3, and now I have book 2, Chamber of Secrets. So I got the Sorcerer's Stone, and I got The Prisoner of Azkaban in these great Minalima editions, which are just so awesome. They're like a pop-up book. I don't want to spoil, but is it really spoiling at this point? It feels like it's not. Little things like the Weasley house popping open. It's a really fun way to do this, I feel like. Anyway, it's like a pop-up book with some extras that kind of pull out all the way. And they're beautiful books. And I love, one of my favorite things I love is the spines that they number them. They've got these cool spires, and they look really good on the shelf. All right, I'll mention this one. I was debating what to do last, but this one before the special editions that I got. I of course grabbed Wind and Truth. My son's already read it, loved it. Absolutely. He said it's his favorite. So, that tells you something. I've heard some mixed things though, so I'm a little nervous, but I am excited to get to reading this next month. So that is going to be my goal. Holy cow, it's a huge one, and I may have to set my Goodreads goal a little lower this year because I was struggling last year to finish up and get my goal in the end there. The final books that I got, this was actually it was being sold by Into the Heart Wild, so go check out her channel. Definitely friend of the channel, so thank you so much. Once I saw these, I was like, oh, I think I missed out. I should have grabbed them when I had the chance, and then I didn't, but then she offered them up for sale, so I grabbed them from Alyssa. So just thank you so much. These are so beautiful. So it's the broken binding versions of the Greenbone Saga. Jade City with side, and you've got these cool little, I don't even know what they're called, weapons. And then you got Jade War. You got a nice katana, I think. They are all signed and numbered, which is so cool. And this might be my favorite, not the, well, Jade Legacy. Not necessarily this one, which is awesome, but I love that suddenly it goes from like more typical martial arts weapons to it looks like a sniper rifle. So anyway, I think it's so cool. Just what cool sprayed edges. Broken binding does it again. I remember just being like crushed that I didn't get them, so I'm so excited to get them. What beautiful additions. I am loving them so far, and I keep just like staring at them on my shelf. It's hard to get things done. Finally, that is all the books for this moment, for the heading into this new year. So anyway, Happy New Year. How's it going so far? Let me know in the comments down below. What are you focusing on? What are you excited for this year? We'll catch you next time. Bye.